Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. In Titans news, the team has waived wide receiver Colton Dowell and signed wide receiver Matt Landers. Landers finished his career at Arkansas and caught 47 passes for 901 yards and 8 touchdowns in his senior season. Landers has bounced around multiple NFL practice squads before ending up here in Nashville. In NFL news, the Las Vegas Raiders released defensive tackle Christian Wilkins yesterday with the designation of terminated vested veteran. This was reportedly due to how Wilkins treated his foot rehab after an injury suffered last season. The Raiders voided the remaining $35.2 million of guaranteed money left on his contract per Adam Schefter. Nashville SC is back on the pitch tonight as they take on San Diego. Kickoff is set for 9:30 p.m. Central, and you can listen to Lucas Panzica broadcast it right here on The Zone with pregame starting at 9 o'clock. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. The F&M Bank chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live is already got some comments in there, Blaine. Casey Jones has said, hashtag not my poobah, talking about Jackson, saying that he does not recognize the title of Grand Poobah for Jackson, but he doesn't have to worry about that today because
that's why you brought it up.
Jackson's not here. Behind the glass, we have the newly dubbed Mojo Rojo back there. Ross Johnston is back there, so Rojo from there. Mojo, because of how he has good luck with the ladies.
You see how you did that?
I did that, and he hates it, which means I like it.
Right, well, but no. You see how you gave him his nickname?
We did.
The Grand Poobah can't give him his own nickname. You have to earn your nickname.
I gave it to him last night on Football and Other F Words. He was our producer, and he immediately hated it. So that means that I immediately know that's what I'm going to call him from now on. Mojo Rojo back there.
That's how you decide
behind
if
the
you
glass.
give somebody a nickname.
Yep.
Huh?
615-737-1045. Got a lot to get to today. I got Memphis football players giving away state secrets to opposing team. Nick Saban talked about his return to coaching and how maybe that was a little overblown by some people in the media.
Because he got bored with vacuuming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we also have this Boo Carter situation kind of hanging out there as well. We'll have to talk about that. We'll hear from Brent Hubbs of VolQuest.com later today. He was on the shows earlier this morning talking about that whole situation and everything. But first, we were just talking about out in the hallway, but you just had escargot for the first time last night.
Which is snail for all those.
Which is snails.
Us lame people.
And so I have to say, my first experience with escargot, I think I was 6 or 7 years old. And for those that may have frequented Gulf Shores down in the early 90s, there was this place, and I think it's still there, called Zeke's Landing. And so you could go deep sea fishing, bring all your food back, they'll cook it for you and everything. And we met up with one of my dad's best friends, CD, over at this Zeke's Landing. And he's like, here, you need to try this. And I go, what is it? He goes, it's sauteed mushrooms. You'll love it. And I ate the whole thing. I mean, I ate like the whole, like you said, they come in like those little ramekins of tin or whatever. I ate the whole thing, and he then told me there were snails, and I said, well, they were pretty dang good. So what was your experience with escargot last night?
Well, I've definitely done the thing down at Destin, and naturally we caught our fish, and then they slice and dice it for you and cook it and everything. So that was pretty cool. That was my first time ever doing that. That was probably in the late 90s. So, yeah, that was a cool experience there, catching it. And then because I wasn't a big fisherman, didn't grow up with a dad, did camps and stuff, but totally different going out on sea and getting your fish and everything. But this wasn't like that. It was really weird because I would have thought they were mushrooms.
Yeah.
But naturally, my wife, who's a lot more orderly than me, said that, no, ding dong, these are just like the snails that were running around on the beach there in Costa Rica last week where we were at. And I said, and now I'm eating them. And she laughed. She said, yeah, just like you thought this was an Italian place and it's a French place.
Yeah. Well, it is called pastas. So that really sounds, and then you look at the menu and you're like, oh, this is French. But like it's when you were telling everybody where you were going yesterday, I was like, oh, he's going to some really nice Italian place. I bet it's going to be really good. And then it's French.
Yeah, so it was really cool. It was really good. Everybody got to check it out. And you don't have to be super dressed up. You just got to look nice. You can have on shorts and a nice, shirt or something. I mean, it was people in there with T-shirts on, but I mean, I don't know how long it's been open, but it hasn't been more than 3 or 4 weeks max.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
Highly recommend.
Okay, so a former University of Memphis safety who was cut from the team sent
cut from the team.
Yeah.
You can get cut in college?
Well, I guess.
Or you get kicked off?
Well, I guess whatever you want to call it. I guess I'm just used to the term cut.
I bet he got kicked off.
It may be kicked off.
I don't know. I'm asking because I'm like, cut doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right.
So you could cut a walk-on?
Yes. Maybe
dismissed is the right word.
Dismissed would be probably, I think, the word that we should use.
He was kicked off, dismissed, yes.
Yeah. But he decided to have some payback and send UTSA, a team that the University of Memphis, play, University of Texas San Antonio, quarterback, the entire playbook and said, here you go. That's all the signals. And then Owen McCown, who is a son of the McCown family. I can't remember if it's Luke or Josh. He sends the crying, laughing emoji, or it's actually just the sad cry emoji, but it's meant to, it's like, I can't believe that you sent this. And he goes, far left of this book is coverages. I'll send you a better list showing you all the calls, but they will run quarters and none of the safeties can cover, by the way. No reroutes on the slot. The field safety is the weakest link in the defense. His hamstring is hurting, but he's running out of eligibility. So when you play him, he's number 0. And the Owen McCown says, bet, but let me know if they cut your stuff. I'll put in a word. So, I mean, I guess maybe they do use cut. I don't know.
This is last year or this is upcoming season?
This is last year. And the Roadrunners ended up winning 44-36 because their offense knew the entire defense, so they were able to score 44 points against this defense. They may have been able to do that anyway. Memphis wasn't a vaunted defense or anything. But this was former Memphis safety Taj Ra-El who did this.
Was he a starter?
No, I think he was just like a backup. I don't really remember him at all.
He didn't play at all?
Not really. But they caught, now this week is AAC Media Days.
Mm-hmm. AAC.
Yeah, AAC. And so they asked the quarterback yesterday, or was it this morning, Ross?
Might have been this morning.
It may have been this morning about this situation. But they also caught up with Coach Ryan Silverfield, who sat across at a dinner across from the head coach of UTSA. And this is what Ryan Silverfield had to say about his interaction with the UTSA coach.
We've talked more so, obviously, in recent days. To his credit, he picked up the phone and we had a conversation a few days ago, and we're both very open, mutual respect for each other. And then, obviously, it was interesting. We had our coaches dinner last night, and him and I were sitting right across from each other. And it would be interesting if someone had gotten us a picture of us shaking hands and laughing. Look, it's the nature of it. We've had open dialogue, respect for each other, and we both said, hey, it's best interest, regardless of what happened, to move on and focus on our 25 season.
So they just kind of laughed it off. Now, obviously, the people on the UTSA side are saying they never use it. But then the Memphis players are saying we saw them check in and out based on our coverages a lot in that offense. I mean, almost every time. So I don't know, but I mean, it seems like everybody's just trying to laugh it up. But I think this is as a former player, this feels like it breaks some kind of code, right? Like, or is it just, all bets are off once you're off the team?
I would say that. All bets are off. But how did they get the information?
He texted it to him.
I'm talking about how did the media?
Well, someone got caught wind of it at, I guess, Memphis's version of On3, and they all started investigating it. So On3, this is kind of like an On3 investigation.
That's why I didn't understand, though.
That's how the word got out, because I just think he sent the playbook.
The defensive play calls and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where it goes a little too far for me. It's one thing to call someone and say, hey, look at this, that, and, watch out for this, or, things of that nature. Especially, just assume that he was on UTSA's team. So what do you think he would have gave them?
Yeah.
All righty. And if he had the playbook, then he could show them in face, in hand, right? And he could tell them everything. But to intentionally just go out of it, there's some part of that I just don't like it all. But, there's conversation going all the time.
It looks like he was dismissed from Memphis after. We'll cut dismissed, but after week 5. So
he was pissed.
So he was mad.
He was upset, of course, and let alone. So that's why he did it
before this game, obviously.
Yeah. So that's yeah. He probably reached out to somebody on social media, contacted them, and said, "Hey, where can I send you? I can give you all the dialogue. What's your number? All that." I'm sure. Yeah. So that's why the situation happened. You know what? I'm surprised that hasn't happened more with the transfer portal and the way it's set up now, and guys getting cut. To be honest, to your term, they are getting cut, and they move on, and they take their scholarship, and then they just have no reason to stay there because they can't pay. So. Yeah, I'm interested to see if we see more of this. But everything that I predicted that would happen with the transfer portal and players getting paid, as I said years ago, that it's going to start turning to the NFL. You're going to start having jealousies on other players, how much they make, because we're dealing with now younger players who aren't emotionally developed. And it's going to be bad for college because that then is hence going to bring a lot of drama and coach stuff that they're not prepared to handle. It's just not. It's totally different. So until they probably get a cap and other issues going on, or their version of what that is, it's going to be more and more like the NFL. If not, you're going to see what's happening in UT. It's probably happening at other schools too. We're just not paying attention. But it's going to happen a lot, and because they're really in negotiations.
Yeah,
that's it. That's what Nico did. He negotiated. They didn't like it. They wanted to be the bully. You don't tell us what to do. You don't do it at the last minute. We're going to show you. Oh well, we're going to wait a minute. We're going to hold off and see if we give it to you. Just imagine it's going on in the NFL, and then just like Abdul Carter, we're going to wait till the season starts, and we're going to take care of you, and then you don't. Then the guy's pissed. See?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, now let's take that to 18 to 22 years.
Did you see what Nico said at the press conferences yesterday? He's like, this was really all about being closer to family. That more of my family could come to the games.
He got schooled up.
Yeah, he did. I mean, like, what did you really expect him to say? To be honest with you. What you got, Rojo?
I'm gonna ask Blaine. This guy also from Memphis called out his fellow DBs and said, he said safety number 0 is the weakest link on the defense. His hamstring is hurting, and they don't reroute the slot. So I'm wondering, how would you feel if one of your fellow DBs had called you out like
fellow
that?
ex-DBs,
Yeah, fellow ex-DB.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, my mindset is totally different as a player than somebody sitting here. So I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love challenges, and I love, okay, you really think I'm that bad? But the coaches don't. I start. Obviously, I must be better than you think.
Well, that's kind of what this is all about, by the way.
So I'm about to show you that is not true. So I hope they throw my way because it's going to increase my stats. So me being an athlete is totally different. Like, if I brought that same competitive spirit, y'all think I'm crazy up in here.
No, I mean, you have to be kind of, I was about to say, you have to be a kind of special crazy, at certain points to play in the NFL.
Yeah, it's not, you got to turn that off. But
here's what it says. Rael, the guy who leaked the player who leaked all the information, was previously reported to left the team in October, right after week 5. But a source close to Memphis tells Tiger Sports Report that he was dismissed from the team. So dismissed is the correct word, from the team, adding more context for an alleged motive. In the alleged DM, Rael also notes a weak link in Memphis' defense with injured safety Cortland Marsh, who, when healthy, started ahead of Rael. Marsh's injury held him out of the Tigers' loss to UTSA. So he wasn't even playing on the field, but
he thought he should have played because the guy was injured. They should play him, and the guy was keeping him from playing because he's like, nah, I'll play. And he probably was practicing. The guy wasn't even practicing until game day.
Yeah.
So, Oh, that could have happened to me. That's how I got my starting job.
There it is. Yeah. A former player from Memphis's 2024 squad told us, we're on the field, and their offense has a check for every single one of our defense's checks. So he even told them, on the left is the checks and all that kind of stuff on the sheet in the play call. So it's kind of wild. But like to your point, I wonder how much the two schools maybe try to keep this under wraps, because you said you were kind of surprised that maybe we didn't hear more stories kind of like this, or we'll start to hear. But I do wonder how much maybe the teams, one guy figures it out, maybe one coach figures it out, and maybe gives a common courtesy saying, hey, this could be coming out. I don't know what you want to do about it. I don't know, but the conversation between that Ryan Silverfield said they kind of laughed it off, and the other guy apologized, I guess, as soon as he heard about this story. So I don't know. I don't know. I am kind of with you. I'm kind of surprised we don't hear more stuff like this already.
I think you're going to start hearing more with the transfer portal and guys going to same conference or different conference, and you still end up playing them. There's always insight like that. I'm going to be like this. The athlete in me says it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Eventually, the pieces on the board start moving. You can say, I know what we're doing or not. The players still have to execute.
Right.
Watch this. Every game I went into, we knew what they were doing. They knew what we were doing.
Well, it's like Cody Barton, right?
So,
Yesterday, bring it to the Tennessee Titans. He recognized the play. Now he was able to execute it.
Right.
What about the play that he recognized but doesn't execute on?
Right. Well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, that's just how it is. That's why I said. So I don't want to say it's overrated, but it's not as easy as people want to make it out. Like, oh man, he knew the play. Man, there's so many things you got to recognize, and so many other things going on with your responsibilities and the play call and motion. Some guys just aren't able to, it doesn't matter what you tell them. You can tell them what they're going to do. When you get out there, still got to do it. You got to stop them.
Right.
Like, okay, Julio Jones is going to run a out route in fifth year at Falcons. I couldn't stop that if my life depended on it. Really? I know he's running the out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, man. It gets a little carried away with it.
Because, really, if you think about it, as well as like the defense, even if the offense knows the play, well, you called that play to stop the offense. Go stop the offense.
Right.
So, I kind of agree with you on that one.
So, it can help, but at the same time, you just don't know how many of your players will be able to buy into that. Why don't you just call the plays and stop it? Then they can say, we're going to run a play to the right, and when they line up in this formation, then they run a play, but they boot to the left.
Yeah.
Right. See, so they'll play off of that. So and then now you're out of whack. You're like, I ain't paying attention to none of that stuff the coach told us. That ain't there, I'm trying to hone in on what they said. Oh, man.
Well, when we come back, we'll be joined by Jordan Dajani, and we'll go around the NFL with him. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. It's time to go around the NFL with Jordan Dajani. And Jordan, 6 minutes ago, you posted this article up that is so interesting to me. The NFL is fining 100 players and 24 team employees for selling Super Bowl tickets above face value at Super Bowl LIX. Talk about why this is a violation of the CBA and talk about the ramifications going forward.
What's going on, friends? Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, a bit of breaking news coming from the Associated Press. It turns out that a handful of NFL players, well, actually near 100, if not more than 100, along with some coaches and club employees, had a side hustle of being scalpers on Super Bowl week, where they were able to pawn off their Super Bowl tickets to bundlers, as it's described from the memo with the NFL, that work to resell the tickets for a profit. Now, this specific practice is prohibited in the NFL's collective bargaining agreement. And believe it or not, it's actually something that's happened before. I think back in 2005, the Vikings ran into a situation where their coach, head coach Mike Tice, and a couple of their assistants were fined $100,000 for the head coach, $10,000 for the assistant coaches for scalping their Super Bowl tickets. So this is something that has been against the rules for a long time, but the NFL's talked about enhancing some of the mandatory compliance training so that everyone in the league is very much aware that you're not allowed to sell your Super Bowl tickets. According to the CBA, every single player on every single roster is allowed to buy 2 tickets per Super Bowl cycle, but the problem is you can't sell those at resale for a profit.
Just real quick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers placed 449-pound rookie Desmond Watson, who's with the Florida Gators, he's a rookie, on the NFI list due to weight. Can you do that?
Well, they requested that he lose weight beforehand.
Right. And I felt kind of bad that this article blew up because the headline is humorous, right? The Buccaneers placing a 449-pound rookie on the NFI list due to weight. But I made it very sure in the article to mention that he's already lost around 15 to 20 pounds. I mean, he was playing at like 464 pounds during his time in Gainesville with the Florida Gators. But he was a kind of a priority undrafted free agent for the Buccaneers. At least it seemed that way because of his ability to stuff the run. I also mentioned in the article that Desmond Watson is not just some big body. Like he's an actual athlete. He can probably run the 40-yard dash faster than I can. I think he had a better vertical than Janai Broome, the Auburn basketball player. So he's been working at losing weight. He's just not at the point where the Buccaneers would like him to be. So that's why he's been placed on the NFI list. But it's definitely a wake-up call for him because he's someone who is obviously in danger of missing out on the 53 roster cut down day.
Christian Wilkins gets cut last night by the Las Vegas Raiders, and I guess it's a dispute over how he's been handling his injury and the recovery with that. Tell our listeners what's going on with that, and do you think that the NFLPA, because it's in flux right now with leadership, will be able to win the appeal that he is making?
Yeah, so apparently there were rumblings about this for the past month or so, but Christian Wilkins, who signed a 4-year, $110 million extension with the Raiders in free agency last year, is now a free agent. And more than that, the Raiders are voiding the $35-ish million he had guaranteed to him for the next few years. They cited a, quote, failure to maintain his physical condition to play. So as you mentioned, the Raiders wanted him to undergo another surgery on his foot. Last year, he suffered a Jones fracture in October, which knocked him out for the rest of the year. Christian Wilkins did not want to get another surgery done. And in fact, according to reports, he said no to multiple opinions, wanting to rehab the injury on his own, which the Raiders clearly didn't think would work. So now Christian Wilkins has filed a grievance with the NFLPA. And I'll tell you guys, I think that this could get very, very messy. Here's one of the most interesting parts is that Christian Wilkins had 50 days from June 4th to get the grievance filed. Thursday was the last day it was eligible to do so. So he got it filed at the deadline. We'll see what happens from here. In terms of the NFLPA structure, I don't have the 100% clarity in terms of the answer to that question, but I will tell you, I don't think that the power structure in terms of the top guys in charge being in flux will have a major impact in some of the hearings that will go on with this case.
We're talking Jordan Dajani of CBS Sports as we go around the NFL.
Well, Jordan, thanks for coming on, man. Long time no here, but man, we're seeing a lot more retirements during training camp than I can recall, not just with the Titans, other teams too as well. Do you think, or why do you think this is happening? That first and foremost, is it just this block of time that's happened over the last 2 or 3 years that this is why it's going on? A lot of guys just really maybe have injuries and maybe retire for different reasons.
Yeah, Blaine, good to hear from you, man. I will say that I think you're picking up on something. Like, we see this every single year in terms of some surprise retirements from some veteran players. Sometimes we even see some rookies or young players actually retire towards the start of training camp. But I do feel like it's kind of the time of the season we do see some of these surprise retirements, right? You start ramping up from OTAs and minicamp to training camp. Things start getting tougher, and people start really kind of surveying their options and what they want their future to look like moving forward. So it does feel like we've seen more notable retirements just specifically this offseason, but I'm not 100% sure there's a specific reason for that.
Any resolutions for Scary Terry, my high school alum, as well as Trey Hendrickson? Do you think they will get something done with both, neither, or where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, in terms of Terry McLaurin, if I had to pick one of those situations that I think actually comes to a resolution, it's probably Terry McLaurin. And I've been saying that for a long time now, and it's kind of surprising to me that it's gotten to this point. We're now in training camp. He's not taking the field with his teammates. And I think part of the reason is it's really tough to come to a number in terms of AAV, what that next extension is going to look like for Terry McLaurin. We saw some contracts come down recently with DK Metcalf with the Steelers. Now Garrett Wilson, another Ohio State guy with the Jets. They're coming in over $32 million per year. So where does Terry McLaurin, who's about to turn 30 years old, where does he come in the mix with this? Would the Commanders feel comfortable giving him $33 million a year, making him the number 4 highest paid wide receiver in the NFL? Would Adam Peters really feel comfortable with that? Because I think Terry McLaurin is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. I've said that on this show a million times, but I don't think that, you could make the argument that in terms of how much money you want to give him, that could be too much. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, listen, the Commanders Super Bowl window just opened. They've got their quarterback on a rookie contract. Washington would not have been able to find the success they did last year without Terry McLaurin, who caught a franchise record amount of touchdowns in 2024. Now, in terms of Trey Hendrickson, I have no other development to give with this guy. I mean, he's not at training camp. He's down training in Florida. I will say that the Bengals owner, Mike Brown, said earlier this week that he believes a deal will get done, but I don't know if that's lip service or really a sign of things to come. I almost lean towards it being kind of BS because we've seen the reports coming out about the guarantees in the offers being presented to Trey Hendrickson being atrociously low. So it's crazy we've gotten to this point, but I think everyone around the NFL world is just waiting on a development. It's clear the Bengals want to keep him, but you have to wonder, when is that opportunity going to come where they start changing their mind and start entertaining trade offers, since we're now in the heat of training camp?
Mm-hmm. Now, we've seen this before. I thought the new rules mean that they can fine Trey Hendrickson for not being there. I haven't seen anything about fine unless I misunderstood the rule.
So I haven't looked into that either, but I was totally under the assumption that he would be fined for missing out on training camp, but I'd have to look into that to be 100% clear on it.
Okay. And then lastly, this is going in another direction. This is your alma mater, Tennessee. What do you think about what's going on with Boo Carter?
Oh, man. I mean, listen, there have been rumblings, like mostly on social media over the past couple of weeks about Boo Carter, and we finally got some more clarity on the situation earlier this week with Adam Sparks saying that Boo missed numerous team activities, and there was even a confrontation with team leaders. Now, we over at CBS Sports jumped into the reporting mix yesterday saying that it's unclear if Carter will report to training camp and that an altercation occurred on July 16th between Boo Carter and his teammates. And ever since that altercation, Carter has not been around the team. So now all eyes turn towards next week when the Volunteers training camp starts ramping up. What is Josh Heupel going to say about this situation? And one thing I'll point out is that from our reporting at CBS Sports, they said that Tennessee views the potential loss of Boo Carter as even more impactful than losing their quarterback, Nico Yamalava. So that's a wild statement in my opinion, but I kind of understand it. I mean, Boo Carter was one of my favorite players last year, and people were anticipating to him to play a really big role, maybe on both sides of the ball in 2025. So he's a guy that I really do not want to lose, but obviously the situation seems in flux right now.
But didn't he get a new contract? Look, he didn't get a new contract, didn't he?
We're talking college.
I mean, yeah. Did he get a new one?
You saying Boo Carter get a new contract?
Yeah. I thought he was one of the guys. That's why he stayed, is that he got a new little dilly bump in pay there for NIL.
Potentially, but I knew that there was conversations about his representation. There's some confusion about his representation right now if he has someone new repping him. So that would be even more complicated if he did receive some kind of new deal, which I'm unaware of.
Oh, gotcha. We're on with Jordan Dajani, NFL writer for CBS Sports.
Just real quick, so Trey Hendrickson was put on the reserve/did not report list on Wednesday. This move allows the Bengals to fine Hendrickson $50,000 each day that he's absent from camp, but a lot of teams don't enforce those fines. So we have not heard if the Bengals are going to enforce those fines as of right now.
So it's up to the team.
It's up to the team if they want to enforce it or not.
Oh, yeah.
So
I thought they had to enforce it now. Do you see it all the time now?
Yeah, now the teams, I think this happened a couple of years ago, but teams are, I know not all fines are this way, but these particular fines, they're able to decide if they want to enforce them or not.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. The Giants named their starting quarterback for 2025 on the first day of training camp. And Brian Daboll said it was Russell Wilson. Everybody's competing, but Russ is our starter. That should come as to no surprise to anybody, right?
I guess it came as a surprise to me, given it was on the first day of training camp, right? Like if it weren't for the Cleveland Browns, I would make the argument that the New York Giants have the most fascinating quarterback room in the NFL. And if I was a head coach, maybe Russell Wilson wants a promise behind closed doors that he will be the starter entering the year, but I'm not making that information readily available if I'm the lead man of the New York Giants, because I'm going to make him earn the job, similar like I'm doing with Cam Ward with the Tennessee Titans as the number one overall pick. That's the way I'd be enforcing things and running things if I was the New York Giants. And I think the question has to be asked too, like, how long is Russell Wilson's leash? And I feel like that question needs to be asked if Brian Daboll is going to come out on the first day of training camp and announce him as the starter. Maybe Russell might have a long leash. But given the situation with the Giants, with their head coach and their general manager being on the hottest of hot seats, you have to be able to survey your options during training camp in the preseason to see which one of these quarterbacks, the most important position in football, has the potential to be the best player there is to lead your franchise this season.
Yesterday, it was reported that Justin Fields was carted off the field for a lower body injury. I believe they said leg injury. Ends up, it was just a dislocated toe. Is there a proper way that maybe Jets media or whoever broke this story should have worded this a little bit better? Because it really made it sound like this was such a bad injury that the season was going to be over for Justin Fields before it even began.
I mean, that was a crazy hour yesterday, right? Like, Fields goes down on the first play of 11-on-11s. The Jets swiftly switch over to another drill. Fields is sitting on the trainer's table for approximately 10 minutes with his right shoe off before being carted off the field. I mean, black and white pictures of Aaron Rodgers carrying the American flag out on the field in week one had to be playing in the front of Jets fans' heads, right? Like, are we a cursed fan base? Did we really just have a new starting quarterback go down with another foot injury? But as you mentioned, thankfully, he just kind of got stepped on and dislocated his toe. Now, in terms of reporting, you can understand why Jets reporters probably had some PTSD in terms of their quarterback going down with a foot injury. And I know that there's been a lot of debate over the past 24 hours about what being carted off the field means, and that's something that I've had to get clarity on as well. There's a big difference between you walking over to the sideline and then taking a cart to the locker room, or a cart having to go on the practice field between the lines and transport you inside the team facilities. That did not happen with Justin Fields. He was able to hobble over to the sideline, but that was definitely a point of contention among reporters yesterday.
It was reported that the Los Angeles Rams, obviously, like many NFL teams, kicked off training camp on Thursday, but Matt Stafford is missing camp because he's got a sore back and will just be kind of a limited participant. Tennessee Titans play the Rams at week 2. Is this something to really monitor, or is this something that's not going to be a big deal in a few months?
Yeah, from what I gathered, it's actually not too big of a storyline. I thought it was pretty notable, given your 37-year-old quarterback cannot fully partake in training camp due to a strained back. But Sean McVay tried to put reporters at ease earlier this week, saying that they're going to ramp him up and everything should be fine. With that being said, I do think it's worth kind of keeping an eye on as we progress through training camp. When exactly is Matthew Stafford going to be a full participant? And I think it's a big storyline just because the Rams are expected to be a legitimate contender this season. Like, the way they've been operating throughout the offseason kind of makes it seem like they're Super Bowl or bust, and they're going to lean more towards bust if their starting quarterback is injured to begin the year.
We're talking Jordan Dajani of CBS Sports as we go around the NFL.
Well, Jordan, you've been covering the NFL for a long time. This is going to be the toughest question you answer all year on the NFL, and that would be, do you like the Browns helmet?
No. You're right. That is the toughest question I'll field this entire offseason. I hate it. I hate the Browns uniforms. They look like you-know-what. I don't know why they came to this decision. It's even crazier that they're sponsored by Dude Wipes as they're announcing these uniforms as well, because they look like doo-doo. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of them at all.
Have you been out to Titans practice?
I have not been out to Titans practice just yet. I would love to get out there, but with my new role with CBS, I'm kind of on point for a couple of different things. So I'm not exactly a Titans beat reporter as much as I'd like to be sometimes, but we'll see. Maybe we'll make some plans in the future.
All
right, Jordan, training camp stats. J.J. Watt recently called them ridiculous. How do you feel about training camp stats?
I mean, I think they play a role in terms of breaking down your team. I don't think that training camp stats are something that should be referenced from a national perspective, but if you're someone like Jim Wyatt, who's tracking these quarterbacks going through 11-on-11 drills, that is something beneficial that the fan bases specifically are probably interested in. Okay, Brandon Allen did this day, Will Levis did this day, and Cam Ward did this day. I understand why some people would be interested in them, and I think they play their purpose in a very niche way. But from a national perspective, I don't think they should be referenced.
You know, this is a non-football question, but it's the last question. When we talk about Mount Rushmore of athletes across all sports, do you think we don't give enough credence to one of the Williams sisters, especially Venus Williams, who just at the age of 45 won her first singles match?
Man, potentially. I'm not the biggest tennis person in the world. I did write a little bit on Venus Williams with her incredible return to the court. But, you know, Mount Rushmore is definitely a tough hill to climb when we're talking about someone like that. So I probably would not include her in the mix, although she absolutely is a tennis legend.
All right. That was Jordan Dajani of CBS Sports. We went around the NFL with him. Jordan, stay cool out there.
Hey, you guys too. Appreciate it. Happy belated birthday, Blaine. Live it up this weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, man.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk about this Boo Carter situation and hear from Brett Hubbs of VolQuest.com. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. And we got the producer himself, Mojo Rojo, back behind the glass. Ross Johnson.
See how you
doing?
gave him his nickname?
I did.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
He hates it, and that's why I love it even more.
Yeah.
It makes me love it even more.
So when you're dealing with people like him, just always just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he's going to always do that.
Seriously. He's
Yeah,
the
go the
worst.
opposite. I don't know what you call those people, though. They just do the opposite because they want to.
Instigator.
Just
Yeah,
nu-
that's
he's
what I
just
call him. That's what he is.
Just
I'm
a
an
nuisance.
It's in his nature.
I'm a nuisance.
Just a nuisance.
I'm a nuisance. Okay, so a couple of days ago, the news of the week, I guess, has been this Tennessee Volunteers Boo Carter situation. And Carter remains on the team officially, but as is written over at volquest.com by Brent Hubbs, is that his future with the program is cloudy at best, less than a week away from fall camp. Carter was in the building last week, but they have not been able to confirm that he's been in the building this week. This is not set well with the Leadership Council for the Tennessee
But
Volunteers
isn't this
football.
his third week off?
And I guess it's his third week off or whatever it is.
I'm talking about the teams.
Yeah. And he did go to California last weekend, but it's not clear. It's unclear if he has returned. He's missed a good number of team things and has been tardy to some of the events that he has attended this offseason. That's not set well with the team overall, including the Leadership Council, like we just talked about. And Tennessee players have to be back on campus Monday evening for the start of camp team meeting. They don't know if Carter will attend. They don't know if there will be news about Carter before then. But, I mean, I guess is this kind of, as I may or may not understand the situation, is this kind of like voluntary workouts and OTAs that he's missing?
No.
No, he's missing mandatory stuff.
Yeah, everybody else is there.
So, everybody else was there. I mean, I'm just to clarify, everybody else was here for, what was it, mini camp or whatever it was when Jeffrey Simmons was missing.
Yeah, you can't compare college and pro.
Okay.
It's totally
Okay.
different. Yeah, as
Gotcha.
far as practice, the practicers, yeah, they're all set up for, everybody's supposed to be there. Even if it's for the workouts, you can only miss like if it's excused for, some personal reason, what have you. So that's why the management, their team leadership council is involved here, which is always interesting to me, in college because, you should have a say-so, but, sometimes some of these groups and leaders go and try to sit down and have conversations. And when I say sit down, it ain't more of a sit down. It's more of a like, hey, man, what the heck is going on, and not approaching the whole situation in a professional manner. And I think you got to be real careful there because you can divide your team there. And so to me, the coach is the only one that should be addressing things of this nature because they may not know, the Leadership Council, what actually is really going on with him personally, whether it's something personal, whether it's something contractual that they promised him, or what they promised him being that he's a two-way player on both sides of the ball. Maybe he's not getting to do that in practice. I don't know the situation. But here's what I can tell you. We didn't see any of this before. Why all of a sudden this year, this time that this has happened? It has never come up that Boo Carter's missed anything until now. Now, I'm not talking about now. I meant like this last semester or this period of time. So why all of a sudden somebody goes rogue? Why does somebody become a villain all of a sudden? Something happened. So I don't know what that is.
To your point and your question about the NIL deal that we thought that he had already
That's why
signed.
I said that.
In December, Carter announced his plans to be back at Tennessee in 2025, despite speculation about whether he could enter the transfer portal. In his announcement, he mentioned the Volunteer Club, the Tennessee-focused NIL collective, to indicate he signed a new NIL deal. Now, what that says right here, and this is from On3, is that he mentioned the Volunteer Club as a way to indicate he signed a new NIL deal. Now I'm beginning to wonder, by this wording, did he sign the new NIL deal?
I don't know.
So, again, maybe this is from today. Oh, from 2 days ago, the 23rd. So that doesn't say he technically signed it.
Wednesday.
It said he mentioned him to indicate he signed it. So maybe there is, again, money involved in this kind of situation. Let's listen to Brent Hubbs on if Boo could transfer on or play elsewhere this fall. He was on Ramon and Will this morning.
Yeah, walk on.
It's to my understanding, if he transferred out, he would have to be a walk-on somewhere, but he could not be in the SEC. Now, there's some people who it's some of that's interpretation of rule, not about the SEC, but about whether or not you could be a walk-on or whether you could go on scholarship. It's my understanding the best he could be would be a walk-on somewhere outside of the Southeastern Conference. He could not transfer anywhere, even as a walk-on within the SEC. There's a situation where there's a kid who transferred from Wisconsin, I think, to Miami. He's not a grad transfer. He transferred outside of the window. And it's to my understanding he's going to be a walk-on down there and play this year for Miami. That's the rule I understand, but I don't, again, some of that stuff's up for interpretation, but that's the way I understand the rule.
I mean, it's just a lot of uncertainty in the air around this situation. I mean, I would expect maybe Monday he's probably there, maybe? Or do you think this is we're kind of in the midst of a real situation where he may not even show up on Monday?
Well, I don't know all the facts and information.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I really don't. To me, when a player starts doing stuff like this and it comes out of nowhere for a semester and people talk about what's been going on, that sounds like something has upset him and they have not addressed it. Nobody all of a sudden becomes this kind of player or, like not showing up and being half going to meet. I mean, man, I don't know what to think about it, to be honest. And we could say that, remember when Nico didn't go to the spring game? Remember I said I predicted that he would go and stand on the sideline. He did not go.
Right.
And that was more contractual. Correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this is the same situation. I have no idea. But for us now to just hear about him not showing up for different things that he's required to show up for, there's a reason. Whether he should or shouldn't be doing it is another story. But that's kind of odd. This guy is supposed to be the best athlete on the team. He's going to be a two-way player. He should be super excited about all this that he's getting, let alone he's got supposedly a new NIL deal. So this is weird. Something
because
not right.
Well, let's say what it's not. Well, we can say by what you just said, the logical assumption would be it's not about playing time. It's not about a starting spot. It's not about your hierarchy among the team. So what left is there? If it's not about playing time, if it's not about star status or anything, it has to be about something.
Or maybe they're not letting him go both ways. I don't know. Nobody ever said if. I don't.
But
think
that seemed to be the plan from everybody,
that's
right?
What it says. That's what they've been saying. So I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate on what it could be. I'd love to hear.
We just really can just say kind of logically what it can't be.
Right.
Because it can't be that he was not a valued member of this team.
Right.
It can't be that he was in danger of losing his starting spot. He may be now. but the decision, what would have led to this decision is definitely not because he was losing a starting spot. Yeah. So it's interesting because these are now two situations with the Nico situation too, where it's like, what's really going on here? And of course, in today's day and age, we'll eventually find out. I mean, you can almost find out anything here, especially with the way the On3 has been just killing the investigating game right now. But we'll eventually see. It becomes to a point, and Josh Heupel spoke on SEC Media Days. This was specifically about Nico. But he talked a lot about the next man up mentality. And I know that they have all kind of mentioned nobody's bigger than the power T and all this kind of stuff. And it's about who's here. It's not about who's not here. So it'll just be really interesting to see. Josh Heupel will speak to the media next week where this has, what is all the info about this situation? And that, I think we'll find more clarity from at least the coach's side, but we may not have the clarity from the player's side by the time that Josh Heupel speaks. It'll be interesting to see. I'm very curious about this because, like you said, it feels like it just kind of came out from nowhere because I think we were all under the assumption based on that, announcement that he had gotten a new deal. Because I was under that assumption. I know that at least the deal was offered, I guess.
And he had shown no behavior like this before until now. So something has gotten him off cue here when players do that. And whether it's right or wrong, something happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is.
Well, Tennessee coach Josh Heupel is expected to address Carter's situation when he meets with reporters July 29th. Tennessee is scheduled to open training camp July 30th, so stay tuned for more information as this comes about. When we come back, we'll switch gears to the Tennessee Titans. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We got producer Mojo Rojo behind the glass, Ross Johnston behind the glass. We got a lot to talk about. You know, Blaine, the Tennessee Titans have had an interesting offseason. They've obviously hit the reset button. They've obviously preached patience. They've been talking a lot about the moves that they have made, why they have made them, what the purpose of this season is, and it's all about finding out about what Cam Ward is. But there's still a lot of lingering questions. Maybe we can get a couple of those questions answered tomorrow at Saturday's, what do they call it, Back Together Again event? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it says right here. Back Together.
Back Together Again event.
Titans.
But I wanted to do something a little fun, if you'll allow me. I have 3 questions I've been trying to get answered this week, and I'm got a little bullied this week at the press conference. People had to ask about Lorenzo Carter and Traylon Burks and stuff.
So you think I have the answers?
No.
Or Ross.
But I want you to see if these are questions that we really want answered. So I want you to tell me, do you like the question? Do you hate it? How would I word it? Because, I mean, maybe sometimes I say stuff that I don't mean or use words I don't mean that don't translate to the football guys. So I want to get your thoughts on this. So my first question is to Brian Callahan. These are all to Brian Callahan, really. You recently said that you wanted the identity of this offense to be explosiveness. You've also mentioned last year the theme was efficiency. Remember, that's all he talked about last year, efficiency. Cam Ward was 5th in the NCAA in explosive pass plays. How much can he help you in that regard, and how do you, as a play caller, balance explosiveness and efficiency?
Oh, I think that's perfect.
I feel like that's a good question, right? Because he's changed the tune of what it was last year. Last year, it was all efficiency this, completion percentage, all this focus. And now this year, he's on record saying explosiveness. And you would kind of think that maybe, hey, you had Will Levis last year, who has a big cannon of an arm. Maybe you would have put a little bit more emphasis on explosiveness last year. So I do kind of wonder why this shift in philosophy and why this shift now.
And that's the question I'd ask him. That right there. Yeah, that what you just said. Yeah, because that is odd. That is the reverse with the guy with the big arm and not the guy who's an efficient person.
Right.
Ward is the efficient guy. He does everything. Yeah, so, I think that's what I would ask him more.
See?
So that.
This is why I asked you this question, because now I'm going to type that in here.
Because he's efficient, man. He was getting a lot of pressure in practice, and he was getting that ball out, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed with that.
Yeah.
So
because it's just interesting. It just seems kind of like counterintuitive, I guess, in my head, is like, wouldn't you want Levis to have the explosiveness? And I understand that, you can't just build an offense on just explosive plays. You have to set those plays up. But it just seemed like we're talking about a team that last year was, I believe, 25th in explosive pass plays.
Okay. How about this? Let's play this game.
I love it.
I'm going to be the head coach of the Titans.
Okay.
You ask me these questions.
Okay. So we'll just start off with.
You can start off with the one however you want to ask the one.
Let me redo this question just real quick, but I won't pull this up as well. Last year, you were very adamant that this identity of this offense was going to be efficiency. And you had Will Levis, powerful arm, and you guys ended up being 20th in pass explosiveness. Now you got Cam Ward, and there seems to be a shift in philosophy and the identity of this offense, and you've gone from efficiency to explosiveness. Why the shift in philosophy? Well,
I was saying that I was the head coach, and I'm a first year. I'm not Brian Callahan.
Oh, okay.
The reason why I said that is because, I would never make any proclamations. See, that's what I wouldn't do as a coach. That's why even Vrabel, Fisher, I'm talking about Belichick.
I guess I should ask you.
You know what my offense would be?
That's what I should ask you, right?
My offense would be? Yeah. That we win.
That we win.
I
like that. Mm-hmm. That would actually probably go viral, by the way.
That we win.
I like that.
It's all that matters.
It's not really about how you win, right?
And we lose.
Yeah.
We can be efficient and we lose. It doesn't matter. Guess what we do? Do enough to win.
Yeah.
We have one more point than the other team.
It's kind of like the Jalen Hurts answer yesterday. Remember we were reading about that?
That's why I love Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about just his talent. I love his demeanor and everything, how he goes about his business and his processes when he's answering questions. I've been in Philly. I know what it's like. So that's why I said, why did they ask him questions? He won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, why should he be better? He should be like, I'm going to try to do just as much as I did this year, and hopefully maybe I don't have to do as much, but maybe even more if I have to. Depends on the game. And if I have to throw 5 passes, I have to throw 35 passes. That's where you want your quarterback, and that's where you want your head coach to be, right there. Same steady Eddie the whole time. Because people are always going to bring back in the media now. With social media, everything you say gets all over the country. And they're going to revisit history and go like, well, you said last year, just like you did. And they're going to be like, oh, dang, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that. He's the first year. He was excited. He's just going to throw the ball around and have a good time, and I get it. But then this year, I'd be interested to see how he's going to answer these questions.
Yeah.
That's the part you love about Callahan. Like, he's giving you everything like you want to hear. He does a great job.
But then that also gives the media
it bites you in the butt.
A lot of ammo if you don't be that. Because to me, you're right. Like, it was like when Chad Brinker and Rand Carthon went on that offseason, they were talking about this and that, and their brothers and the brother I never had. And as soon as Rand Carthon gets fired, what are we doing? We're going back to those clips.
Things that he said.
Yeah. Like the things that he said, and then that's counterintuitive to what you're saying now.
Yeah, right.
And this is counterintuitive to maybe it's a good thing, right? Maybe it's a good thing that he's changing his viewpoint, but I do want to know why all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think that's a great, valid question.
Because, I mean, that's all he preached, right? Was like efficiency, completion percentage, then we'll hit the big plays down the field. And, none of that really happened. And now this year, first words out of his mouth, he sat down in that video, and he goes, they asked him, what do you want the identity of this Tennessee Titans offense to be? Explosive or explosiveness. I can't remember which exact word he used, but like, that's what he said. And I'm sitting there thinking, I go, wait, that's not what you said last year. Like, that's the first word, out of there. And I'm like, I'm glad, because I do think that there's opportunities to create explosive plays with some of these players. Mm-hmm. But again, that's almost a total shift in philosophy to me. And maybe it's not as drastic as he makes it sound, but that is a drastic different word than efficiency. So that's just kind of was like, when I heard that, I was like.
Well, do you think that's exactly what what's the name's following up? When I say what's the name, Cam Ward? That's why he's saying the things that he's saying.
Maybe it is. Like, maybe this is what Cam Ward brings to the table. Because like I said, he had the 5th highest pass rate, explosive pass rate last year. Really second when you take out those teams that only like throw it like 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like 3, like Army and Navy, they don't throw it around the yard a lot.
Yeah.
But they have the Miami, when you include all 134 teams in the FBS or whatever it is, he was the 5th highest quarterback. He had as many explosive plays as Jackson Dart and Ole Miss, 74 explosive pass plays of 20 yards or more. Surprisingly enough, Xavier Restrepo was tied for 7 in the NCAA in explosive play receptions. Mm-hmm. But I do wonder if this is a shift because of Cam Ward. If it is, I'm okay with that and good with that, because that shows that you're trying new things for your new quarterback. But again, I do feel like that was the strength of Will Levis somewhat, was utilizing that arm that he has, and it felt like they were a little bit more focused on efficiency last year with him.
Yeah, this is interesting. Do you have pull up the Brian Callahan tape of his speech to the team, if you can find it, and I'll talk here for a second. And that is, I think he's learning from some of the things he said before, and now is just trying to auto-correct it a little bit. Now, there brings a lot of excitement being a new head coach, so you get pumped up about it. So he's going to say some of these things. And then now that you have, maybe in his eyes, the right pieces to his puzzle. When I say that, I mean,
his puzzle.
He's like his toys that he's got out here. And I'm talking about now he's got a couple new wide receivers, got the offensive tackles down that, that's going to be at least halfway decent. And now he's got his quarterback. See, so now he's thinking, well, hey, we're going to be really explosive and big. And that's kind of what we hear from Cam Ward. I feel like I'm hearing that because that's what I think Brian Callahan is conveying to the offense. So I think he kind of alluded, we're going to be a really good team and everything else when he's giving that speech.
Were you referring to backwards hat Callahan speech?
Well,
I got it.
About the
all right, let's hear the backwards hat Callahan speech.
Yeah.
The energy that I felt when you guys came back in the building. I feel your confidence. I feel your excitement, right? Our execution, our effort, and our elimination of sins, right? That's the Titans trio. You want to see execution, you want to see unbelievable effort, and you want to see a team that plays a clean brand of football. Those are the things that we're focused on. What I get motivated by is the way that you guys came into work today. That's what motivates me. That's what gets me excited, because I know what we have in this room, because I believe in what you guys are capable of. And when you come in a building and you wake up in the morning, that's what should get you going, is that you know you got a group of guys in here that have put a ton of time and effort into it, and that we're going to be a team that plays hard and makes life hell for any team we play, because we are capable of being a damn good football team. How many days until we play our first game? Anybody know? 47 days. So we should feel the urgency every time we walk in. It should be urgent as shit. We have to make each other better every day we step out.
So that's Brian Callahan. You can go to the Titans Twitter or Titans YouTube page to hear that. I mean, well, let me ask you this. From the player's perspective.
What did you think of it?
I mean, I find it a little cheesy, I guess, but it's not because of it. Just as a guy who's done a lot of public speaking and all this kind of stuff, it felt like a guy that wasn't really in his element. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know. Not everybody has to be that guy.
No, that's
right.
True. No.
But as a player, if you're sitting in there, is it a different perspective because it's your head coach? Like, how did you react to that as a former player?
Oh, well, we had different coaches play different roles.
Gotcha.
Coach Fisher wasn't the guy that's getting up here giving the rah-rah, let's convince you, all the different things. We had different coaches that do that. So that
you see that in others. And I think the Miami Dolphins, Frank, their offensive coordinator, when they were on Hard Knocks, their offensive coordinator was that guy.
So I think that's what you're referring to. Like, he's, kind of forcing it. But what I'm getting out of it is his words. And that, we are capable of being, a dang on good team.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that's giving me the boost of confidence that we are capable. And that's what I'm talking about now. Mm-hmm. How you motivate people. Like, is that how the players actually talk? We are capable?
Well, I mean, we did hear Cam Ward say that almost exact word, right? Is that because he heard it from Coach Callahan?
That's what I'm going to next. That's why I said I think they are repeating what they're being told.
Because they said, or Cam Ward said, we are capable of being a top offense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Capable. What did Brian Callahan just say? Is capable the new collaboration?
I don't know.
But I mean, you are right. Like, so he heard that, and he obviously regurgitated it. And, it got picked up. Even Jordan Dajani wrote an article about it. And he was talking about Cam Ward loves his playmakers, believes that Tennessee Titans offense is capable of being of one of the top ones in the NFL. I mean, it is. It's possible. I mean, it's maybe not probable.
As Kevin Garnett said, anything's possible.
Yeah. There's a difference between possible and probable.
Well, where'd they finish last year?
Oh, they were like 28th, I think, 27th.
So they won't be worse
than
that.
Well,
they
let's never say that. We said that about 32. The offensive line.
I know. But, man, they got to go
up. If they do, it's because Cam Ward's not playing. Like, he's injured. He's out for the year. Because then I could agree with that. But it is probable that maybe they surprise everybody. I mean, like, look at what Jaden Daniels did with Terry McLaurin, and then his second leading receiver was Olamide Zaccheaus. And he's a slot guy. So it's not impossible, but it goes back to explosive inefficiency, that kind of words that kind of clash a little bit together, and about this new approach to the offense, because what made the Jaden Daniels experience and that offense hum was Jaden Daniels, but his fit in the offense was his fit with the high use of RPOs at the beginning, a lot of play action, the run game, the offensive line working out, his legs, which is something that we haven't seen from Cam Ward in college, his ability to extend plays by rushing with the ball
instead of scrambling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping everything comes together and they are like that. But the odds are best case scenario, I would say they would be middle of the road offense.
And listen, I'll take it.
Oh, no, I'll take
the
that
last
all
few
day.
years that we have seen from the Tennessee Titans offense,
I'll take it all day.
I'll take it all day because an average offense keeps you in games.
Yeah. And
it
keeps interest by the fan. And I'm hoping that the defense is the same, but I don't, without having an elite pass rusher, that's really hard to do. Unless Jeffrey Simmons has somewhat of a career year.
And maybe he does.
And he's capable. But he has
Speaking
to stay
of capable,
healthy.
there's that word again.
Yeah, he's capable. No, well, he is capable.
He is capable.
Everyone's capable, even Cleveland.
No, everybody's not having.
Miles Garrett seems to think Cleveland is capable. He expects a Super Bowl in 2025.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Miles, I hate to disappoint you, but that ain't happening.
He's doing a lot of talking this year. Remember, he said that he was going to put,
Aaron Rodgers
in the grave or something.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah,
funny.
he's doing a lot of talking. A lot of talking.
So is Shador? Why do they keep showing Shador highlights and I see nothing of Dylan Gabriel? So it makes me think is he doing great or is there
They
just the hype
using that
machine?
name.
Right? Is it just the hype machine? What's going on here? I have no idea.
That's something we'll have to dig into as training camp starts rolling off.
Or is he becoming trade bait? I mean, what's really happening here?
What's really happening? Well, when we come back, I'll give you my last two questions for the Brian Callahan presser.
Okay,
because that was just one. We just talked all day about one, and we'll try to get into some of our Titans offseason superlatives as well. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop, Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Stinky, stinky, stinky. Is that what it was like the last time you were at an auto repair shop? Smelly, greasy old rags laying around all over the place, the countertop that you would not dare touch. Another thing that stinks is the repair shops that keep your car forever and they're not honest. They don't call you back when they say they will. Was that your last experience at a vehicle repair shop? So, hey, it's Blaine Bishop to tell you about Eurofix, and they take the stink out of European auto repair. And at Eurofix, you get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection with an estimate at every visit and not high-pressure sales tactics. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. You never pay dealer pricing. Family-owned for 26 years. Located all over the state in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But I always tell them Blaine sent you.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. All right. Here's my second question for Brian Callahan, or for you if you feel like answering it.
Okay.
What's your confidence level with the skill sets in your revamped receiving corps? Do you feel like you have the guys that can handle everything that is required to execute this offense, inside or outside, so you can attack the middle of the field?
Well, obviously, these are the guys that we have. So, yeah, these are the guys I want. So, of course, I'm confident in all the guys that we have at every position.
I love it.
On the football
Is
team.
that a question even worthy asking?
There's a certain, I would ask it maybe a little bit different.
Okay.
I probably would say, what is the difference between this group of receivers and weapons compared to last year's, and why do you think it could be better?
Oh, I love it. So I'm going to start running by all my questions by you.
That's
such a better question, but that's good. I mean, I like
because
it.
Then I think now he has to kind of delve into that a little bit.
Yeah, no yes or no answer, I guess. A little bit more nuance in there. All right, final one. When it comes to RPOs, pre-snap motion, play action, those have shown to be of great benefit to rookie quarterbacks. You guys didn't utilize that a lot last year, and the Bengals since 2019 really haven't either. Will you be utilizing more of those this year, or have you seen enough from Cam that he doesn't need to lean on those easy button plays?
Well, if you kind of paid attention during these OTAs and training camp, we have done a little bit of OTAs, to your point. Great research there, Zach. So maybe we'll use it some weeks and maybe not, but it'll always be in the game plan.
There you go. What do you think about that question?
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
Well, there you go.
It depends on the quarterback. I wouldn't delve into if my quarterback can do this or that, but I would say that I would play along as though my quarterback can do everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at it and just wonder, when I guess I'm really, all these questions really dive down to, why is this offense going to be different? Not from, we know it's going to be different because there's different players. We know it's going to be different because there's different quarterbacks. But what is Brian Callahan doing differently, and how is he setting up this offense for success? Whereas last year's offense never felt like there was that change or that aha moment, because we've seen other teams when maybe someone goes down with injury or something's not working, they switch something up, and never felt like we had that switch up last year. And I'm wondering if what the switch up is this year, that we can expect a different outcome. Because you can say, oh, it's just a quarterback, so we're going to expect a different outcome. But there are things that Brian Callahan needed to change, too, that he didn't change. So what is he changing this year?
Oh, I think I'd ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that question, what is he going to do differently this year that he thinks he needs to do to have more success as a play caller, as a head coach?
Yeah.
Like, give examples. So, yeah, and I think he will. I just think he's that kind of guy. So that's the part I love about him.
Yeah.
Right there. But, yeah, it's unpredictable because players, win games, and now he's got 2 tackles. In his eyes, probably a better receiving group core. So that will help him execute his offense better. So I think that's what he feels. He has to believe that, and he's conveying that message to them. That's why I think he's conveying that, and that's why we're getting what we're hearing, because there's nothing in my mind tells me this is going to be one of the best, most explosive offenses in the NFL. Did we trade for Jamar Chase or something?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, because, when you're trying to do the Bengals offense, it's a little hard when you don't have, I know they don't have Joe Mixon anymore, but they'd had Joe Mixon for a long time. They had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and a better version of Tyler Boyd. I mean, they have
and let's not forget Joe Burrow.
And Joe Burrow. And they have now Mike Gesicki over there, who's a receiving threat. They also have Andre Yoshevich, the wide receiver out of Princeton they drafted a couple of years ago, that has track speed, like legit deep speed. So should we look at it as they're going to be explosive, but they're not going to be likely one of the top offenses? Because, again, I think that they're capable, but really, when you talk about the Washington Commanders last year and looked at their explosive play rate, you're talking about a team that with the Commanders, I'm trying to find it right here, with the Commanders, that was, a little bit higher, right? But they also had the explosive runs too. So that came down to a little bit of scheme fit. And they went and fit everything around Jaden Daniels. And I'm not entirely convinced they fit everything around Will Levis last year. And I don't think that Tim Kelly did either. I haven't come to that conclusion, but I don't think that Brian Callahan did. And so is that change present now? Are we fitting stuff around the pieces that we got, or are we getting the pieces that fit his puzzle? Does that make sense? Because you said it earlier. Are we still conforming everything to his scheme, or are we conforming the scheme around the players? Is it players over plays or plays over players? I guess is the big question when it comes to Brian Callahan, because last year it felt like plays over players.
Well, I think there's a balancing act, and when you get players that fit your scheme, you feel like fit your scheme better. I think you get better results, and most of the times you do. So sometimes and maybe now he feels like once now you've seen after a season of players and their strengths and weaknesses until you see them in games. Watching on film is a little bit different. Till you get to know them and how they respond to certain things, and that's quarterback included. You watch film on Will Levis, I think you say, oh, man, I think I can work with this.
Yeah.
And then when you start working with them one-on-one and then in games, you start saying, this is not going down the road I thought it was going to go down. I need my kind of quarterback that I get to vet. He has a lot of tools, but not the tools that I want for my offense. So, and whether that's receiver or not. So I think he will be confident and now a little more confident. Not only that, he also has a year under his belt as a head coach. So it's kind of interesting. I think some things you keep comparing, and a lot of people are doing this to the Commanders, and that's why I wanted to go look up their staff. To me, it's two totally different pictures. The only thing you're trying to compare them to is what you're using is because it was two new quarterbacks. Two young quarterbacks, but that it's not the same example. I said before, the coaching staff was experienced. This staff was not. So it's totally different. So they had a different approach. One thing that was clear, though, that this Dan Quinn did is he knew he was going to get a quarterback that was going to be mobile. And he knew he had the number 2 pick, and he knew he wanted a coordinator that could fit that type of player. So right off the bat with Cliff Kingsbury, they got the kind of quarterback that fit what he wanted to do. And then they added, I'm sure he learned some things when he was with Kyler Murray.
Right.
What he couldn't do in the National Football League. And that you got to use a tight end a little bit in this league for protection purposes, let alone that. So I think they hit a home run with there. And then defensively, they just needed a couple pieces and moving around. And Dan Quinn's a defensive guy, and he got Witt, who's been in the league as his DC for a long time as his assistant, and that was his DC. So a lot of familiarity and a lot of experience there in the league, where Callahan hired all newbies. He was a newbie head coach, newbie play caller. He knew defensive coordinator and new special team coach. Recipe for disaster, because when things go awry, you want to be able to lean on coaching staff, guys that you know who've been in this league and have some experience at being at their position. They can help you along the way. So first of all, that tells me that he didn't have those kind of relationships. Because that's kind of what you would do. So you have someone to lean into as a rookie head coach. When everybody's new, they're not going to be input anything. Guess what they're worried about? Keeping their job.
Right.
So that's where they're going to go. So I think it's a little different scenario. And they had veteran pieces and puzzles around Jaden Daniels for his success. Now, was he going to play like that? Nobody could imagine that.
Right. And listen, he may not even play like that this year. We never know.
He may have a sophomore slump, but man, he played phenomenal. He was really, because it was parts of me. Man, he was in the MVP. Just thinking halfway through the season, he was in the MVP conversation of the National Football League. He was playing on that kind of level
early in the season too.
Yeah, that's all the way through. And so it was impressive, and I think they understood what they had. And by the way, they had Marcus Mariota behind them, who was somewhat similar stylistic player. So I think it was a little bit different there in the scenarios with experienced offensive line there. And then they made some good picks in the mid rounds. I think it was 3rd or 5th round. And the guys that played above where they were picked and had some veterans around him. And then they had a running game. So they, and he could run. And they put that in there. I didn't think he could run as much as he did. Now, I knew he could run, but I meant be durable.
Right.
Like
because you're kind of like RG3, right? Like, I mean, that's what you kind of felt like as far as when he runs. Is this going to be the time that he gets hurt?
Right. I mean, he was standing. RG3, I thought would last a little bit longer, but he had a knee injury. But yeah, this was so that was a little surprising. We're going to see if they can keep doing that because as time goes on in the National Football League, the wear and tear, even he was taking some shots. They may not run him as much, but it's still the threat that he can. And everybody going into games is going to have to prepare for him. I don't think people are going to have to do that with Ward. I think he can scramble. I don't think he's a runner.
He's more Baker Mayfield than he is Jaden Daniels. And Baker Mayfield's not a big-time runner or anything, but he can run, but he's more kind of like a Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson could run, but he's always looking to keep throwing and use running as a last resort.
It is kind of a good option to have. Like, people always like Tannehill played wide receiver at A&M.
Yeah.
They must not forget this guy was a really good athlete. He could run. Like, so I don't look at Cam Ward like that.
Right.
So, no, I don't know if Cam Ward could beat Will Levis in the 40. I'm going to say that.
Ooh.
And that's going to be interesting. A lot of people will have debates, but I don't think he could beat Will Levis in the 40. We can go back and look at their times. Wait, man, I ran at the combine, right?
No, I don't think
most quarterbacks don't run. Most quarterbacks don't run.
Yeah.
So I just don't think he's that kind of dude. I think he's a guy that can scramble, move around. But we shall see once we see him against NFL talent in regular season games. See what he looks like. See if he kind of be a little more mobile. You can run some RPOs.
Speaking of Jaden Daniels and the MVP, out of 11 players that received voting points, he was 7th.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
That was impressive. It was
pretty impressive.
I mean, he kept doing it back to back to back. I mean, then getting to see him live when he played the Titans, I mean, they just destroyed the Titans.
Well, that's why, I've always kind of, I know I'm using the Commanders as an example, but like I always caution that we don't know what this team is yet. This team doesn't know what this team is yet, right? I mean, they even said that, hey, by week 4, we're looking forward to figuring out what this team is through the first 4 weeks. That's what Brinker said in his opening statement on this earlier this week. Yeah. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. So again, we'll know more in the first 4 weeks of the regular season. It could look like the Texans. It could look like the Commanders. It could also look like the Bears just as easily because we don't know anything really about this team. But that's also the point of the offseason. This summer fun is to talk about it, speculate, come up with conclusions. And right now I look at it as with Cam Ward, I'm not necessarily worried about him. I'm really more worried about Brian Callahan, surprisingly enough. And I'm not ultimately I don't think that he did anything that made me feel like he's not that he can't be a head coach in the NFL. But I'm so interested to see the changes that I feel like he's alluding to this offense.
His adjustments.
His adjustments.
Do you think he was dealt a fair hand with the quarterback, receiver, low line situation?
I don't think so necessarily. I don't think it was the worst situation for a rookie head coach to walk into ever in the NFL or anything. But it wasn't, I would say, if you would ask me probably this time last year, I would have been drinking the Kool-Aid. I would have been like, oh man, we got Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, I'm thinking all this stuff. And then I see that DeAndre Hopkins leaves and goes to Kansas City and he doesn't really do much for Kansas City. I see what this offensive line turned into because I was last year at this time. I'm like, Bill Callahan, he should be able to do stuff. And then the offensive line, I don't know if it's players. I don't know what it is. I would assume probably right tackle. That particular situation is the players. But the offensive line took a long time to even resemble anything worthy of NFL average. And then it just ended up being Calvin Ridley. It was the only real wide receiver. You couldn't rely on Tyler Boyd, right? I mean, we had Tyler Boyd last year. So, obviously he took a situation that he thought was going to be better than what it was. Because again, kind of like you said, remember that first Albert Breer article after he got hired? And he's talking about his interactions with Will Levis watching the Falcons tape.
That was awesome.
Right? He's talking about his interactions. That's just classroom talk.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like me and you talking before I got the job just in the green room or something, and then coming out here, turning on the mics, and me crapping my pants. Mm-hmm. In the green room, I was fine.
Right.
In the classroom, I was fine. Then I get over here and I crap my pants.
Yeah.
The mic comes on. I have no clue what I'm talking about. I stutter, stumble, pause, all that kind of stuff. So was it yeah, I mean, I guess, but also I didn't feel, and again, it comes to the point where like, I don't know if he was just like, this is my system, throwing my hands up in the air because I don't know if I could do anything with anybody on this thing.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn it around and say, okay, so basically you're saying, yeah, he did. He got the dealt hand, Brian Callahan.
I think you can easily make the argument he did.
So who had the worst hand dealt to him? Will Levis or Callahan?
I would say I think taking away Derrick Henry hurt a lot more than what we really gave credence to.
For Will Levis.
For Will Levis.
Uh-huh.
I do think Brian Callahan. Yes, I side with Brian Callahan. Probably got it worse, but I think once you add in like he got injured too for Will Levis, like, and then they try to put him out there and all this kind of stuff. Like, I feel like maybe he got dealt a pretty bad hand too. I'm not saying that he's innocent or anything.
Oh no, neither one of them.
Yeah, neither one of them are innocent. I would say that I think Brian Callahan got dealt a worse hand roster-wise, but remember, he handpicked that staff. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I would say Brian Callahan. I probably would lean I'd lean towards Brian Callahan.
What do you call him? What's his nickname?
Mojo Rojo.
Ross is fine. I think Levis got it worse off.
Do you? You worse off than Callahan?
I think there were enough weapons to make the offense look a little better than what we saw last year. And the O-line obviously was not great, but again, like, it's the NFL, you got to figure it out. It's not like Callahan had great lines when he was in Cincinnati as the offensive coordinator, so I think you got to be able to figure it out a little more than it seemed like they did.
What do you think? I mean, who do you think? I mean, even if it's a marginal win.
I know that, and I'm conflicted because here's how I'm approach it.
Yeah.
And this is what made Mike Vrabel a good coach. Not a great coach, but a good coach. And that is, whatever hand he was dealt, he played to that hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if Callahan did that. Here's why I say that. You have an offensive line issues with the tackle. I don't recall us doing a lot of tight end, staying in, blocking, helping your quarterback have more time in your offensive line. And if I only had to have 3 guys out on the route and a safety valve, that's what I'm going to do. And guess what? We're going to figure it out. I can't let my quarterback keep getting hit. So that's what I'm talking about in adjustments. Like, are you adjusting to the approach of what you're now dealt with? Now that you've figured out that some guys ain't as good as I thought, and maybe this quarterback doesn't have the proper mindset that I want. So how can I help him be better in my offense instead of running my offense?
Yeah.
It's up to you to bring the best out of him with what you think he can do. Don't try to make him something that he's not. Will Levis wasn't a dink and dunk guy. That was never going to be part of the cards. That's just not every game all day. No, that's when he's a big gun, a big arm. I'm going to throw it downtown.
And you're also seeing less stacked boxes, right? So that means there's more people in the passing lane. You don't have Derrick Henry back there, which is something that Levis had a benefit of, was seeing a lot of stacked boxes even when passing the ball. So you get a clearer vision of your running lanes, or your passing lanes, throwing lanes, post snap a little bit better. Here you didn't have that. It was they saw way less stacked boxes even in the passing game. And what's weird, Blaine, is that they did less play action this year than last year by a few percentage points, but still less. And he was considerably better this year at play action than he was last year, but they didn't lean into the play action.
Right.
And that to me is just a simple thing that I've harped on for almost all offensive coordinators.
Using those stats? Like, it was clear that
I was told.
You were saying, but
I mean,
you were
that's
told.
what they told me. They told me
they told us.
us.
No.
Yeah.
Their actions tell you what they're doing.
Which differently than what they told us verbally. Because I'm sitting here thinking like,
they just told you to be quiet. You know how when your mom or dad tells you something just so you be quiet?
Right.
Well, that's what they did.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm pulling up their points, right? They said they use a lot of EPA. Right? Expected points added. They specifically brought that up. And when they brought that up in the offseason last year, I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be easy. We're going to figure out what they need to do every week. This is easy. And then I'm looking over here, and yeah, they're about league average at play action, right? 24.3%. But the Titans last year did 29.4% play action plays. Now, is that because they had Derrick Henry and they were able to lean into it more? Maybe. So. But if you look at the change, this was the only positive expected points added play for Will Levis outside of RPOs, which neither team, the 2023 team or 2024 team, utilized RPOs enough. Mm-hmm. And it was better than 2023. So why not lean into more play action? Because it was working. Like, if you're going to, this is an efficiency metric, right?
Was it because that's not what he runs in the system?
They didn't really do it a lot with the Cincinnati Bengals. So they don't do a lot of play because they're mainly in shotgun. And you can still do play action in shotgun.
But he wasn't just with the Bengals, wasn't he?
Well, he with the Matt Stafford and Detroit and all that kind of stuff. I'd have to go back and check those numbers. But it makes me wonder, like, okay, how much are you actually using the data? Because this data would tell you right here, to get the best out of Will Levis, you'd be spamming some play action. I mean, you'd be doing it no matter what. You'd be doing it.
So they didn't do it nowhere near enough.
Nowhere near enough.
So I would lean in that it's really, I'm leaning towards more Will Levis got the raw there. Because and here's why I say that. The coach, it's up to him to do that.
I think you would feel Brian Callahan got a more raw deal if you felt that Brian Callahan did a little bit more to help Will Levis.
But I don't see it though.
Yeah,
I can't see it now. Behind the scenes, it could be that.
Be different.
Mm-hmm. But I just can't see that based off of the play calling and what they were doing out there. They were running the same offense with Mason Rudolph. Got the same results.
And everybody, and I understand the line wasn't good, and everybody's afraid of the line and play action. It worked. It worked for Levis. This should work for the Tennessee Titans. What do you got, Mojo Rojo?
It seemed like it took him forever to figure out how to use Spears. It took him a while to figure out how to use Ridley as well.
Don't forget the NWI switch.
Mm-hmm. And then when Ridley and Hopkins were there together again, they couldn't get that to work. And I know that's not T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and they don't have Joe Burrow back there. But again, it goes back to Blaine's thing of saying, you've got to cater your system to the players you got. You don't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You got two good ones, but they're not that good. You got to find out how to get them the football consistently, and then you might not lose a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, after that Buffalo game.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say this just real quick, and we'll go to break. Steve Lamb says, because Levis can't execute the play action, Callie had his hands tied behind his back. I'm telling you, he did. A lot of their explosives were play action plays.
With Derrick Henry? So what do you mean he can't do play action?
He had better. His best stats came off play action. He can execute play action. This was not a Will Levis issue. This is a play calling issue. When you are not using play action, I will maintain till the day I die. Does not matter what your run game is. Play action is always somewhat effective and helpful for your team. And everything that is telling you, when you go watch, Stoney talked about it. When you go watch all of the explosive plays, he watched every explosive play. Mm-hmm. The majority of those came off play action. And you were ranked 20th or 25th. And we're talking about 40-something pass plays that were play action. And 40-something pass plays that were explosive. The majority of those are play action. It was working. It works. Just saying. When we come back, we'll continue talking about the Tennessee Titans. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. Just real quick, Blaine, I'd like to lay some knowledge down because I'm harping about the usage of play action. I harped about it with Vrabel throughout his tenure
But you
here.
did this even during the season.
And during the season, play action is just effective. Will Levis, by every metric, was better at play action than he was in non-play action things. 78.1% completion percentage versus 63.5. 78.1 is almost 15 points higher than what he was. So 15 completion points higher at play action.
And how much did they run play action?
They ran play action just 24% of the time. Okay? He threw a catchable ball 90.1% of the time. 83% of the time for the for non-play action. So 7% increase. He was on target 77.5% of the time versus 70.9% of the time in non-play action. Yards per attempt, 9.5 yards per attempt on play action. 6.8 yards per attempt, which is below average. 7 is where you need to be on non-play action.
And that's all knowing you're not a Will Levis advocate. So
I am not a Will Levis advocate.
Ross, say what
I
you
just
said
want
during
that
the
clear.
break, because we're not saying it. We're just saying we're demonstrating. See, you guys are looking at the actual players. We're talking about the actual system being run to help benefit the player, for him to be the best version of himself. Doesn't mean that Will Levis still would have been a good quarterback. Means he would have been better than what he served.
I think Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly understood who Will Levis was very quickly.
And Callahan had to learn who he was.
Yeah.
He thought he was already a polished quarterback, which is what I said during the season. Like, I think he thinks that this guy's already become a good quarterback, and because the way he was calling plays and wouldn't go around it. And then he realized, no, he's not that dude.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, to me, it's like they try to take a Pinto off-roading. Is what they did with Will Levis this year.
My late great aunt had a baby blue Pinto, man.
I don't know what color my mom's Pinto was.
With the big wheels on the back, too, boy. Oh, I used to love getting in there, man,
and
when I was a kid.
with Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly, they had a Pinto, and they kept it just for around the neighborhood driving. and that's the difference, right?
And that's what you do with the Pinto.
Yeah. You only take it out to maybe,
take
just
it off-roading?
just to keep that battery fresh just in case. But you don't take it off-roading. And that's what I think
You'll
happened.
come home with two or four flats.
And so, again, play action helps everybody for the most part. Not every quarterback is the same, but for the most part, play action almost helps every quarterback. It's just maddening to me that more teams don't use it.
I'm about to get you.
Look at the
Do you already
Lions
have the numbers on Cam Ward?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
All right. I know you got them on some spreadsheet somewhere.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
You did.
Play action right here.
So let's see if he does it with Cam Ward as well. Does he lean into how much it helped him or didn't help him? Or if not, I mean, because Cam Ward does fit the style, at least, of what getting rid of the ball quick at times in this offense, which is going to be needed. You could see that all day. But I don't know about the play action part. You bet off it.
I'm going to find it here in just a second.
Oh, man, I bought you as much time
I thought I had
it's
it.
It's almost break time.
I thought I had it in this one, but I did not. Oh, my gosh. Where is
Bananas is up there banging on the door, talking about, what are you doing, Zach?
Zachary Lyons. We must be better.
I cannot believe where I put it.
Oh, you don't remember.
I don't remember it.
You don't have it logged by, tagged by name.
Oh, no.
Oh, my. This is horrible.
Oh, this is terrible.
Oh,
I'm ashamed because I just had it the other day.
Oh, you're ashamed.
I am ashamed.
You have thoroughly disappointed
Got
me.
it.
Oh, my.
So he did play action 27.6% of the time in Miami.
Okay.
And he was actually better without play action.
That's it.
And so we go back to Blaine talking about
I knew it.
why Cam Ward got drafted, because Cam Ward is better at non-RPOs.
Yeah.
He's better at non-motion plays. He's better at non-play action plays.
Yeah.
That's all things that Brian Callen does not utilize.
Nice. Now we have it. And that's why he looks like how he looks in the offense, and he's going to look much better.
Right.
With better weapons than Levis and better protection. Yeah, they should have got Jackson for protection, but instead he just dissed us and is going to get ready to do 3HL.
Yeah, he had to do.
Don't defend him. No,
he said he had to take a dog somewhere. I don't know what kind of dog he had to take somewhere. That was his excuse.
He had to take a dog somewhere.
He had to take his dog home or something.
Oh, he had to travel the dog.
Yeah, I don't know how real that was. Mojo
Play
Rojo.
college football.
Yeah. You had to take a dog somewhere? You instead of doing our show? Oh man. Do not turn on his mic for anything. You did you bring your dog with you or that dog?
Ross.
Hey, we're turning
He
the
has
mic on.
control.
Real quick. We got another show
There's
behind
the mic
us.
that came on. It's the other one over there. You don't even know.
Yes, I had to take my dog back to my parents.
Okay, all right.
Does your dog have curly hair or
Curly hair, little brown haired little guy.
Oh, okay.
Ross, how would you, Mojo Rojo, how would you grade the show?
It was an A- now.
Without
That
Jackson,
there's
it was
like
an
5 people in
A-.
there.
We got complete chaos in here. I was told the breaks were short, so I thought I had to go long. This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 105 The Zone. 3HL's up next, and in the meantime,
And in between time.
peace.